energy equation. Now in this, it's again the similar what we did for equation of motion. We'll consider a small element of volume and will apply conservation of energy to that particular volume, and then will allow the volume dimensions to become we'll put the limit on its dimensions, that delta x approaches 0, delta y approaches 0, delta z approaches 0, and then we will reduce up to the standard equation of energy. So for this, let's consider a small element of volume delta x, delta y, and delta z. Let's suppose these are the x's, and that's the volume which we consider. This is delta x. Obviously, this is x, this is y, and this is z. So delta x, this is delta y, and this one is, let's say, delta z. So in this small element of volume delta x, delta y, and delta z, what we do is we're gonna apply equation of conservation of energy. Now in this, let's assume that in this small element, the fluid is flowing in all given directions. The fluid is flowing in all the given directions in the space, and both kinetic energy and internal energy, both kinetic energy and internal energy may enter into the system and may leave the system via a process of convective transport. Clear? So both kinetic energy and internal energy may enter into this small element. It may leave the small element via convective transport. Second, that's number one. Number two, uh, heat may enter into the system or may leave the system via heat conduction. Heat may enter into the system or leave the system via heat conduction. So whatever the fluid which is entering, let's suppose there is a heat conduction occurring at the molecular level. So heat conduction. Third, work may be done by the moving fluid via stresses, that is under molecular process. So you can say that work may be done on the system, on the moving fluid. Work may be done on the moving fluid via different stresses, and let's consider this at molecular level. Fourth point is, we also assume that work can be done via pressure forces and via viscous forces. Work may be done via pressure forces and viscous forces, and work can also be done via external forces, that is under the effect of gravity. Work may be done on this system under the effect of pressure forces or viscous forces, or maybe via the external forces called the gravity forces. So what we do is we sum up all these different type of energies which are associated with the fluid which is flowing through this particular system. So the conservation of energy can be written in this case can be, so you can write net rate of kinetic energy and internal energy. We are not talking about potential energy, because what we are doing is we are keeping the dimensions of this small element as small as possible. So the variation of the fluid because of the height factor, that is we can ignore that. So we are not considering the potential factor in this. So we just considering only the kinetic and internal energy via convective transport. So net rate of kinetic energy and internal energy via convective transport plus net rate of heat addition via heat conduction plus rate of work done on the system via molecular mechanism, that is because of the stresses, plus rate of work done on the system because of external forces, that is gravity. So sum of all these energies which are associated with the fluid which is moving inside this is equal to rate of accumulation of internal energy and kinetic energy. So all these energies which are entering into this fluid via convective motion or via molecular motion. So sum of all these will result in whatever the accumulation of the total internal energy and the kinetic energy within the system. So this is the conservation of energy which will be following. Now let's name this equation as number 1. Now let's talk about all these energies one by one. Number 1, when we say kinetic energy, by kinetic energy we say it's because of the observable motion of the fluid. Which can be written as half rho v square, that is per unit volume. So kinetic energy per unit volume, that is half mv square by total volume. So half rho v square represents the kinetic energy per unit volume, which is because of the motion of the fluid, because of the convective nature of the fluid. Second is when we talk about internal energy. So, and when we talk about internal energy, so internal energy comprises of all the energies associated with the motion. That can be vibrational, rotational energies associated because of the molecular interaction. So all those energies can be associated with this your internal energy. So it will be represented by a rho u cap, which is basically the internal energy per unit volume. Internal energy per unit volume. So this comprises of all those energies, that is vibrational, rotational, all those energies associated at molecular level. Clear? So so the entire sum up can be represented as rho u cap, where u is the internal energy per unit volume. Third, when we talk about, okay, over here we are not talking about potential energy because since the level is at the same level, so we are ignoring, basically neglecting the potential effect. So we are neglecting the potential energy effect. So when we put all these terms in the main equation, so the first term which will come is for a fixed volume of delta x, delta y, and delta z. So rate of accumulation of internal and kinetic energy can be written as delta x, delta y, delta z into del by del t of half rho V square plus rho U cap. Because basically it's the sum of all the energies, that is internal energy and kinetic energy, which is being accumulated within the term, that is this particular term. So it will be half rho V square, that is potential energy per unit volume, plus rho U cap, which is internal energy per unit volume. And d by dt is the rate of change of the sum of these energies and into the volume factor. So this represents the rate of accumulation of internal energy and kinetic energy. So let's name it as equation number 2. So when we say half rho V square, we are basically dealing with half rho Vx square plus Vy square plus Vz square. So we can, so V over here is the vector, which is the sum of all the components of velocity terms, that is Vx square plus Vy square plus Vz square. Further, now let's talk about the rate of convective nature of internal energy and kinetic energy into the element. Rate of convection of internal energy and kinetic energy into the element. So that will be, first, if it is entering in the y direction, so the y direction, it will be delta y into delta z, the volume. If it is entering into this direction, let me represent over here. If it is entering into this direction, so the area will be delta y into delta z. Clear? So that is delta y into delta z times Vx, the component of velocity in x direction, into rho u cap plus half rho v square at x direction minus Vx into rho u cap plus half rho v square into x plus delta x. That is into the x direction. Similarly, we're going to add the other two components also for y direction and z direction. So delta x into delta z into Vy of rho u cap plus half rho v square entering at y, dy rho u cap plus half rho v square at y plus delta y, and we have delta in the z direction, so delta x into delta y into velocity in the z direction into rho u cap plus half rho v square into z direction minus vz into rho u cap plus half rho square into z plus z. So let's name it as equation number 3. So this is the rate of convection of internal energy and kinetic energy in all the given directions. Next is net rate of energy input via conduction. Via conduction, it will be again in all the three phases. First in the x direction, so delta y into delta z into qx at x minus qx at x plus delta x. In the y direction, it will be delta x into delta z into qy at y minus qy at y plus delta y. And in the z direction, delta x into delta y into qz at z minus qz at z plus z. That's equation number 4, the rate of energy input via conduction. Where you can write down that qx, qy, and qz are basically the components of heat flux vector q. The components of heat flux vector q. Now, then up is the work done by the fluid element against its surroundings. So it consists of two parts. One is work against the volume forces, that is the gravity, and work against the surface forces, that is because of the pressure and viscous forces. So if we designate work as, normally work we always represent as force into the displacement or the distance in the direction of force. So work we normally represent as work as force into distance, and the distance is the direction in the force, in the direction of the force. So rate of doing work can be written as force into the velocity, because rate of doing work will be W by T, and so F into distance by T. So distance by T can be written as your velocity. So in the direction of the force, so rate of doing work will be the force into the velocity now. So when we say rate of doing work against the gravity forces, so the rate of doing work against the gravitational force, that is per unit mass, so it will be represented as rho into delta x, delta y, delta z into Vx into Gx plus Vy into Gy plus Vz into Gz. So that's your equation number 5. That is rate of doing work against the gravity forces per unit mass. So m into this thing, so force into your velocity component, and velocity with the this thing, your gravitational factor. So this is rate of doing work against the gravitational forces. Similarly, rate of doing work against the static pressure. Rate of doing work against the pressure forces. Let's say the static force, the pressure remains the stationary at all the 6 faces. Will be first in the y direction, so delta y in the x direction, delta y into delta z into p into vx at x into p into vx at x plus delta x into y direction, delta x into delta z into p into vy at y direction minus p into vy at y plus delta y, and the z direction it will be delta x into delta y as p into vz at z minus p into vz at z plus delta z. So let's name it as equation number 6. So this is work against the pressure forces. Now we have the work against the viscous forces. So rate of doing work against the viscous forces. So first one against the gravity forces is as a whole over the entire volume. When we say pressure forces, we are considering it at the surface level. So all the 6 faces will be considered for the pressure forces, and similarly all the 6 faces will be considered for the viscous forces. So for the viscous forces, First, for the x component, it will be delta y into delta z into tau xx into vx plus tau xy into vy plus tau xz into vz at x minus tau xx into vx plus tau xy into vy plus tau xz into vz at x plus delta x. Similarly, for the other two faces, delta in the y direction, delta x into delta z, tau yx into vx, tau yy into vy, tau yz into vz at y direction minus tau yz into vx. Okay, let me keep it up this in the bracket form. That will be easy because then we are writing a minus sign over here. Minus tau yy into vy plus tau yz into vz at y plus delta y. And then we have the next one in the z direction. So delta x into delta y. So tau zx into vx, tau zy into vy plus tau zz into vz at z direction and minus tau zx into vx, tau zy into vy plus tau zz into vz at z plus delta z. That's the So this is your equation number 7. That is the work done against the viscous forces. So now what we do is, so we add all the six equations, all the equations from equation 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in equation number 1. So we substitute all these equations in equation number 1, equation 2 to equation 7 in equation number 1, and put the limits that delta x, delta y, and delta z, all these limits, delta x approaches 0, delta y approaches 0, and delta z approaches 0. So once we do that, what we are left with is, we have this equation, that is del by del t of rho u cap plus half rho v square is equal to minus del by del x of Vx into rho u cap plus half rho v square. Make sure this is u cap plus del by del y of Vy into rho u cap plus half rho v square plus del by del z of Vz into rho u cap plus half rho v square. That is 1 minus del by del x of qx plus del by del y of qy plus del by del z of qz plus rho into vx gx plus vy gy plus vz gz minus del by del x of pressure py plus del by del z of pvz, and the last one minus the, because of the stresses, del by del x of tau x x vx plus tau x y vy plus tau x z vz plus del by of tau yx vx plus tau yy py plus tau yz dz plus del by del z of tau zx vx plus tau zy vy plus tau zz. So this is the entire equation. So in the vector notation, they can be summarized as, so let's summarize in the vector form. So this is the input because of the accumulation. This is because of the internal and kinetic energy, because of the convective nature. This is because of the heat conduction. This is because of the gravity forces. This is because of the pressure forces, and this is because of the viscous nature. So all the entire equation can be summarized in the vector form, which can be written as del by del t rho u cap plus half v square is equal to minus del into divergence into v into u cap plus half v square minus divergence of q plus rho into divergence of g minus divergence of pressure into velocity and minus divergence of tau into velocity. So this is the entire equation which can be represented in the notation form. So what are these terms they basically represent? So you can note it down. This particular term represents the rate of gain of energy per unit volume. Rate of gain of energy per unit volume. This is your rate of energy input per unit volume by convective nature. This is rate of energy input per unit volume by conduction nature. This is rate of work done on the fluid per unit volume by gravity forces. This is rate of work done on the fluid per unit volume by our pressure forces. Rate of work done on the fluid per unit volume by pressure forces, and this one is rate of work done on the fluid per unit volume by viscous forces. So because of all these convective nature, conduction occurring, and at the same time work is being done on the fluid by different forces, that is gravitational force, pressure force, stress forces. All these things will result in the rate of gain of energy per unit volume. So we'll stop over here for today's lecture. That is, this is what your conservation of energy is. Now, in the next lecture, we'll continue from here only, where we'll further represent these equation in a very you know in a very simpler form. We'll try to reduce it in a much simpler way. So we'll continue in the next lecture.